Hello and welcome back to Aubrey Books and Coffee. Please grab your favorite beverage of choice and join me. We are now going into week 3 and I am so excited. Like you saw last week on Sunday there, the spook meter is only at a 2, you guys, a 2. Like I really thought spooky season was going to be spooky. I dread this time of year every single time it comes up because my family's supposed to torture me with scary movies and they haven't. They're supposed to torture me with some scary reads and it's not happened with Spookoplathon. I don't know, guys. And then they're supposed to take me to a spooky location. Maybe they forgot. Let's not remind them. So yeah, whatever's happening, I'm just not spooked. We are now halfway through the month and I'm not spooked. I'm totally fine. I feel like it's fine, nice fall vibes like you do dark academia kind of stuff and leaves turning and, apple cider and pumpkin patches. I'm not feeling spooked at all. So I don't know. Maybe I cannot be spooked this year. Okay. New week, new rule. 6 and a 2 for 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh, chance. Yay. Oh, I know, right? Right? What does the chance card say? It says to kill a shadow. All right. So our first Spookopoly roll gave us a chance card, which was to kill a shadow. I'm excited. This one is by Catherine Quinn, who is supposed to be at a Polycon. So yay, I get to read an Polycon author and see if I'm going to get a gorgeous edition there or not. But this one's kind of pretty too, I'm not going to lie. And if it's not a 5-star, it's up for grabs in our next drawing. This one follows a knight leader named Jude, who actually is in charge of all the other knights, and the kingdom's on the verge of collapse, so they have to go into these dark woods where there's lots of monsters and mysterious things happening and a lot of death. And essentially he leads these knights in there to try to fight off these nightmares and save the kingdom. Well, in order to do that, he has to trust his knights. One of his knights, though, keeps drawing his attention, and she's kind of a rebel rouser. She is named Kiara Frey and is an outcast of their society. So that sounds like they're almost going to have to be like reluctant allies and band together to try to help get rid of all these nightmares and things. So some little spooky vibes, some woods kind of thing, which I also needed for my spooky challenge for Cassidy's channel. So I am all there. So I'm about 25% into To Kill a Shadow, and it feels very young. It does. It's YA, but it does feel very young. It's fantasy. You've got Kiara, who for some reason wears gloves and won't let anybody see her hands outside of wearing those gloves and won't let anybody touch her. And she's got kind of a strong heart, wanting to help her fellow knights that are in training and are going through these different tests and stuff to see if they're worthy of being called the King's Knights. And then you've got Jude, who's kind of in charge of their training and, to see who's going to make a good knight. And he's kind of got a thing for Kiara, and she, is attracted to him and stuff. But I don't know. I'm not feeling it. Right now, I just feel like it feels very, it's going to sound horrible, but like cookie cutter for this kind of trope. It just doesn't feel like there's anything really grabbing me, I guess. So it's not a bad story. It's not badly written, anything like that. It's just not really grabbing me. It's kind of like just, nah. But again, it's only 25% into it. So obviously I'm going to continue it and we'll see how it goes. I'm now 50% into To Kill a Shadow, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm bored. It's a really cool premise. It's very young, very cinnamon rolly, which I am kind of a cinnamon roll girl normally, but you're talking about these characters going to a very spooky wooded area and being surrounded by the mists and these evil creatures that come out, and they need to survive. And they're all just very goody two-shoey. And I'm like, I'm not buying it. Like, if you're going in there, you need to be stabby if you're going to come back out. And their romance just feels like it's supposed to happen because it's written on the page. It doesn't feel natural. I'm just not vibing with this. It just feels kind of boring and vanilla to me and cookie cuttery, and really hoping the last 50% is better. I'm now 75% into it, and just want it over. We've had some fights in the mist, some monsters that we've come across, and the main character had to kill for the first time, and what probably should have been a touching scene between her and Jude was just kind of felt cringy and forced. And then the next morning he's like, let's just pretend, we never talked. And she's like, yeah, totally, it makes sense. It just is so, I don't know, I'm just really not vibing with this one at all. All right, so I finally finished. And hey, this gorgeous edition will be available to you guys because I am giving it a 2-star. I am sorry to say that. It didn't get any better. In fact, it got worse for me. And I hate to say that because it's not like there was any one particular issue. It's just overall, the characters weren't grabbing me. I didn't care what happened to them. I didn't believe the insta-love. I didn't feel like they were ever really in any kind of danger. The epilogue was very, what? Which, I get it, I guess, because it's going to be a series, and so they're trying to set stuff up for the next book, but I'm not continuing it. This was a slog to get through, and if it hadn't been for this vlog, I wouldn't have. Honestly, probably would have DNF'd it, so yeah, just not a win for me. Sorry. Let's do another roll. Hopefully it'll be better. We just finished watching Salem's Lot, the new one that's out, and I have to say, we're kind of disappointed, to be honest. We were expecting a little bit more from it, and it started off okay, but then just went south really quickly. So I'm giving it a 2-star. The rest of the family sounds like maybe 2.5, kind of a thing. So yeah, so far the movie picks have just, for the most part, been kind of disappointing. Every once in a while there's a gem like Abigail last week, but for the most part, yeah, kind of disappointing me this year, guys. Come on, where's our scary movies? Three. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, highest rated. Yes. So the next roll ended up getting us a highly rated spooky book. Now for this one, I went through my GoodReads, most of which are not spooky for obvious reasons. And so by the time I finally got to a spooky one that I also could find in audio format, because let's face it, I'm an audio girly at heart, I got to one that was 3.77, and that is Sleep Tight by J.H. Markert. And I've not read anything from this author before, but I'm excited to get to it. It looks super spooky. Apparently the sole survivor of a serial killer is going to have the key to helping the police stop a new spree of murders that are happening. I'm just intrigued. That whole thing just sounds spooky and it sounds tense, and I think it's going to be a good one. So I'm about 25% into Sleep Tight, and so far it's interesting. It's pulled me in. We have someone who is basically a detective, and her father was a detective that caught a serial killer and was able to put him behind bars. And this serial killer was put to death by electric chair, and the same day that he was put to death, this girl's father, the one that had arrested him, was brutally murdered. And the the one that caught him's daughter, Tess, her daughter has now been kidnapped. And so There's questions on who it is, what's happening, where was the daughter taken, is she going to be hurt, is she going to be okay? And so she's kind of banding together with her ex-husband or estranged husband, and they're trying to figure things out and using the police force and stuff and trying to see what exactly is going on, what the connection is, and hoping to get her back before it's too late. So it's definitely got the thriller aspect of it. Not spooky, but just kind of strange. And the things that this killer did to his victims was really strange. So yeah, that's where we're at. I'm now 50% into Sleep Tight, and now it is starting to really amp up. We have some thoughts as to who took Tess. They're visiting somebody that they were just sure is the person that is behind all of this, but it seems almost like this person has split personality. Like, it seems like there's something strange and just a little different going on there. So I know it's not called split personality anymore. It's like identitive, I don't know. I used to know this off the top of my head. Identity disorder or something. I don't know, something like that. Dissociative identity disorder, I think. Anyway, I'll make sure to try to find it here to be responsible and respectful of those who have it. But it seems almost like he's got that going on. And so we don't know if we're going to get some real answers or not. Right now, we know Tess's daughter is still alive, but that's it. Like, we have no other answers. And it seems like Tess has some problems in her memory. So we're kind of curious what's going on with that and her history behind this all. So yeah, it's definitely strange, a little slow in places, but at 50%, I'm still in it and looking forward to seeing the resolution. So I'm now 75% into Sleep Tight, and I'm still not 100% sure what's going on, but it's definitely diving heavy into the psychological, and it's kind of losing me. I'm kind of like, yeah, I want them to find their daughter, but it's just weird. It's just weird. If you ever saw the movie Identity, it kind of is giving me those kind of vibes, and I don't know. I don't know. Not my favorite. Well, I finished it. I think I'm going to give Sleep Tight a 3-star. I think that's generous. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't badly written. It was just weird, especially at the ending there. It was weird, and it didn't really like make you root for anybody, and it didn't really pull you in. It kind of kept you surface level, if that makes sense, and never really got any spooky vibes at all from it. It was just more psychological thriller adjacent. I know that sounds so weird. I don't know how to wrap this up. I really don't. Because again, I don't do spoilers. Just probably could have been okay never having read it. I wasn't grossed out. I wasn't weirded out. I wasn't bored. I just kept wanting it to be more than what it was, which was just weird. Hope the next roll goes better.
Seems I wore my long legs today. What happens if I...
We just finished watching Long Legs on Amazon Rental, and we're disappointed. I'm gonna give it a soft 3-star. It's weird, it's trippy, it's strange. Started out decent, creepy and weird, but decent, and went downhill fast. Katie said same thing about a 3-star, and starting was better than ending. And Ryan said 2-star, and a soft one at that. And he's very disappointed because there was so much hype over this. And I guess there's an announcement that they did where they're going to come out with the guy who directed this and everything is doing one by Stephen King called Monkey, I think. That's coming out next year. And so now he's like, I'm scared of what that one's going to be like. If it's going to be like this. So, yeah. Good luck. Maybe wait till it's free. I have a cat trying desperately to be a part of this game. 6. You're literally in the way. Stevie. Literally. Okay. We were right here on highest rated last time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pumpkin carving. Thanks, Stevie. Hey, thanks. So for our next roll, we ended up getting pumpkin carving, which according to Becca's rules is it has to have a face on the cover, and it's got a teeny tiny little face on it, but I chose Dearest by Jackie Walters. This is a newer one that's just come out. I'm excited to pick it up. It follows Flora, who is a new mom, and she loves being a new mom. But she starts to get a little stir crazy and exhausted and sleep deprived. Haven't we all been there? And so just when she thinks she's about to lose her mind, she gets a surprise guest, which is her mother, whom she's not even spoken to in quite some time. She's hoping this will help. The mom wants to help take care of the grandbaby. She's hoping this will kind of fix the rift that's been going on between the two of them. It all seems like it's coming up roses until some strange things start happening inside the house. Strange. Is it all in Flora's head, or is there somebody else in that house with them? So I'm about halfway now into Dearest, and it is one strange book. I'm not really sure what is going on here. There's elements that feel psychological, like she's having some major postpartum depression and things going on after having her baby. So it feels like it could be a fever dream kind of vibes of, what's going on. It could be in her head. It also could be supernatural. I don't know. There's a lot going on in this story. And yeah, the best description I can have right now is a fever dream. It feels like I'm living a fever dream reading this. So I just got to the end of chapter 33 in Dearest. And oh my gosh, I knew this was going to be trippy. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I still don't know where this is going. Very fever dream, very strange. I'm kind of bummed. The ending to Dearest was kind of disappointing, actually. It took a turn. That last little bit, the last few 50 pages or so, took a turn, and it went different than the whole rest of the book was really feeling, and I didn't really like it. So I'm going to give it a 3-star. I was not miserable. The writing was good. It was solid. It was very fever dreamy, and then at the end, it felt almost like a cop-out. Like the author didn't know really how they were going to wrap it up, so they just kind of went with this and used this as an explanation and a means to bring everything to a close. It just didn't feel quite right to me. There was just something about it that didn't quite match, and so I'm disappointed by the ending for sure. But at least this means that I now am finishing my books on time, hopefully wrapping up the vlog soon and getting it to you guys hopefully on time. And then next week will be a whole new set of books. So, as a family, we just finished watching Netflix's Malevolent, and oh, I hate whenever a movie starts off really good and spooky, and it seems like it's going to be really great. So, we all agreed in the beginning, 4 stars, and then it gets midway, and there's like a twist, if you will, that you kind of see coming. And then everything after that just went downhill. So I think I'm the highest rating at a 2-star. And then Katie's a 1.5. And Ryan's a 1. All of us 4 stars before. And then they did not stick the landing, 2 stars and below. So this is one you guys can skip. My board hasn't recovered from Stevie yet. 5 and 4 is 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9. Ooh, I thought I was going to get Jason for a 3rd time, but instead I have Ghostface. Ooh. So for this role, we landed on Ghostface, which is one of those fictional serial killer spaces. And so for this one, I looked up in her instructions. Thank you for providing instructions, Becca. And for this one, it looks like basically you need a book with a sound-related word in the title. So for this one, I'm choosing a NetGalley book that I have that I needed to get to this month anyway. And that is The Whispering Night by Susan Dennard. This is book 3 in the Luminaries series. So I'm really excited to get it. I've gotten a NetGalley edition each time, so I've been able to kind of get a sneak peek before the next one comes out. Really enjoyed this series, and I cannot wait for this next installment to see what happens with our characters and where it goes from here. And obviously a sound in this one is whispering. So I'm 25% into The Whispering Night, and I have to admit, it feels, I mean, again, it picks up in the series for the Luminary series. It picks up right away, which I love. I love when authors do that. But I don't know, Winnie just almost feels younger. Like she sounds younger, more teeny bopper, angsty than she did in the previous books. I don't know if that's just me, but yeah, it just feels young. So I'm not miserable. I'm still having a good time. I'm interested in what's going on with the Diana stuff. I'm interested in seeing what's happening with her trying to get her mom back in the group if possible. I don't want to give away too much because, of course, this is book 3. And I'm interested in what she's found out about Jay and how she proceeds from here and so on. So we'll see. We'll see. It just feels different. How's it going, Stevie? Yeah. So I'm about 50% into The Whispering Night now, and sprints are awesome for getting you to read what you need to read, aren't they? So, anyway, it's interesting. It's picking up. There's more mystery going on now, more of it feels kind of like Nancy Drew-ish, where, you're trying to figure things out, the mystery of it, and piece things together. And we're getting hints of something that's happening in the forest, and we're getting, like, has been talked about for the last couple books, like we may get a resolution to that, and about with her dad and the Dianas, and with her friend, and just, again, I don't want to say too much, but they're heavily laying stuff down, so I'm really excited to see where this goes. But at times it does feel still very high school teeny bopper. They're talking about dances, and they're talking about dating, and they're talking about these other things when there's nightmares in the world and these horrible things that are going on. And I don't know, it feels weird. It feels surreal at times, like it's two different worlds that are trying to combine, and it just feels like they don't totally fit together, at least for me, for my part. But I'm still enjoying it. Sometimes it's slow, but I am still having a good time. And Stevie's gonna just bathe because, cats gotta bathe. So I have now finished The Whispering Night, and it was a very satisfying conclusion to the Luminary trilogy, so I greatly appreciate the author doing that. We got several answers that we've been wondering this entire series since book one. It was satisfying. I feel like, as much as I love happy endings, and I really do, there was a little bit of a suspension of disbelief on just how perfect of a bow was put on at the ending. But it's fiction, and so I'm on board, and I'd rather it go that way than really dark and horrible, so I'm okay with that. So I'm probably going to give this a 4-star, which I think has been pretty, much consistent with the entire series. So not ones I'm madly in love with, but ones where I had a good ride, and I really, really enjoyed it. I do recommend, especially for my book club people that read Luminaries as part of the book club last year, if you really enjoyed that, I think you will enjoy the rest of the series, especially knowing that you will get all the answers you're wanting. Just remember that it reads young. For some reason, this third book, now don't get me wrong, Winnie does some amazing character growth in this book. She really does. But there's just so many times it feels like we're back in high school. Like, it's just really young. And I guess I didn't expect that, given the stuff that's transpired in book 2. I just didn't expect it to sound so young, but I have to keep reminding myself she is a teenager. So, but yeah, it was really good. Overall, 4 stars, and I'm really glad that I read this series and now it's done. And I think that just leaves the movie for tonight, and then that's it, folks, for this week.
What went to air that night, as well as previously unreleased behind-the-scenes footage. It is the live TV event that shocked a nation. Late Night with the Devil. Popular Chicago radio announcer.
Good evening, Night Owls. I'm your host, Jack Delroy, and thank you for allowing me into your living rooms for the first of what I hope will be many, many shows. I'd like to thank everyone who helped bring this dream to life, especially my dear mom and dad back in Berwyn, Illinois, who I know are sitting in front of their TV set, big smiles on their faces, watching The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson.
All right, so we finished watching Late Night with the Devil, and wow. I'm probably going to give it, honestly, a 4-star. The ending went a little cheesy for my taste, and it did the same for my family. We're all kind of in agreement usually with these movies and what we're hoping for and expecting, and then what we actually get. So it went a little crazy at the end, but up until then, yeah, there was definitely moments of tenseness and jumping and creepy, and you just feel unsettled the whole time. So yeah, it was a good one. It was definitely a good one. So thinking back now on this week with all the movies that I watched and all the books that I read, I think my creep meter actually went up another point. Just one, mind you. So I think I'm at like 3 now. So Again, it's just not been a super creepy October. I don't know why. It's not my fault, everyone. But here we are 3 weeks in, and yeah, I don't think I'll even hit the creepy, level that I was last year. So I think the movies really added a lot to it. Books absolutely can creep me out, but my choices kind of lean towards the not as scary. So I think that's why for that. But movie-wise, they just have not been good, or they've not been really scary. So yeah, we'll see.